Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Takes from the Lakes podcast. I am James, and I am joined by Nash. Nash is very, very ready for March Madness. It is happening in a couple days. When is the first game? When are the play-in
the
kind of
first
games?
game is the play-in games.
Yeah.
So the first weekend starts Thursday, and that's the first of the first round games. Thursday and Friday is the first round, and then our play-in games will be Tuesday, Wednesday. So it starts. The turnaround is pretty quick. But yeah, if this podcast continues for a while, this will be my favorite episode each year.
All right.
Favorite time of the year. And then just for those of you listening, this will be the last episode with the mic on my
Nash
end, not sounding very good.
Getting his mic set up. This is the last time he will not have his mic set up, so it'll be nice. I know mine is nice and quality, but Nash
so
is just
cool.
I know I am, but Nash will be really a nice little duo in recording and to the ears. It'll be nice to the ears, but
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should just how have you been, Nash? Do you have
been
a
doing
good
great.
weekend so far?
I mean, yeah, KU lost, which
Yeah.
is never fun, but we were just talking about it, that game doesn't matter.
Yeah.
For teams who really care about winning their conference tournament, those are the teams that don't win championships. So that's like Texas, they were ecstatic, but they lose in the first round every year. So
that game might have earned them a spot, a bump up in the in seeding or two maybe.
Yeah,
but
it might mean that they get to play Purdue in their region.
Yeah.
But they're not making it to the Elite Eight anyway. They do horrible in the tournament every year.
Yeah. We'll see about that. But I took the SAT yesterday. So that was nice. I thought it was all right. I thought I'm usually pretty good on math, but I honestly thought English was easier than math. I thought math was kind of decent, but we'll see. I'll get the results back in a couple weeks.
I'm gonna have to see what I get on the PSAT, because I low-key think I could have done very good on the PSAT, but honestly, who knows?
Yeah. Wait, would you? Oh yeah, you took it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. So I think we'll find out soon. But then based off of that, I'll know what to study. I think I'm gonna take it this summer, and I think I might take the ACT also, because the ACT is slight.
Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see. See
James
how both of us do respectively.
College kid before we know it.
I know, 2 years, man. Can't believe next year is senior year. Pretty crazy. But I think we should just hop right into it. Start with some NFL probably.
Yeah. So obviously the bracket selection Sunday is in an hour and a half, but that's the headliner. But in the NFL off season always so dynamic. But we had a lot of big things go down. Do you want to talk about the Lamar a non-exclusive franchise tag and what that means?
Yeah, exclusive franchise tag. So Lamar has 1 year. Well, technically he was going to be a free agent, right? Because last year was his 5th year, right? Because he picked up his option.
Yeah,
and he was technically going to be a free agent. Yeah, and everyone was expecting him to get the franchise tag because obviously they wouldn't let him walk for nothing. But so basically they gave him the non-exclusive franchise tag, which
I've never seen it. I've never seen it used.
I've never seen it used either. I mean, I read up on it a little bit before they gave it out, and I was kind of thinking if they would, but they did. And so basically, it's a 1 year, $32 million deal,
which is underpaid.
Which is underpaid, yes,
for Lamar.
Which is underpaid, but so it's good for the Ravens in that sense. But a team can now offer Lamar a contract, and the Ravens have the chance to match it. But if they don't, the Ravens would get 2 first-round picks in exchange. So essentially, Lamar is basically a free agent, but the Ravens are letting the other teams do the work for them in negotiating contracts.
So they've set the price for his trade.
Essentially,
for him to be traded, and then so the other team would have to trade for him and have a contract
and pay him.
They would like.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And and so, but the other franchise tag would have been 1 year, $45 million, which is more his range.
Yeah.
But they
don't get kind of underpaid.
But they wouldn't they wouldn't allow him to negotiate with other teams.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't get the first round picks.
And then the other thing with this, no player likes playing under the franchise tag, first of all. It gives them a lack of, like, financial freedom, which,
Yeah.
like,
Because
all
he
leagues
could
are
tear his
sort of trending
ACL and
towards.
then his career
Yeah.
could be, changed the rest of his
Yeah.
life.
All leagues are sort of trending towards, like, player empowerment. We see it a lot in the NBA. But I think the risk here for the Ravens is that, teams aren't going to want to, negotiate assuming that the Ravens are just going to match because it seems kind of pointless, right? Like,
Yeah.
um, and so the risk is that Lamar holds out.
Yeah.
And that's, I've seen a lot of that, but, teams generally don't have a good track record when they have these big time players holding out, sometimes even deep into the season.
Yeah.
And so, that poses a big threat
Yeah.
to the success of the Ravens next year. Whereas if they just go ahead and sign him, which, I mean, it's like, who else are you paying
Yeah.
on that team? Like, there's
Yeah,
literally
really.
there's not even that many other good players. I mean, they've got some studs on the defensive end. They overpaid Calais Campbell.
Paid Marcus Williams a bunch.
Yeah, which doesn't. I mean, Marlon Humphrey,
Yeah.
but his deal's not even that crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean, but another thing with Lamar is he's asking for I think like 6-year, 300 mil all guaranteed. And obviously Deshaun Watson was like 6-year, 230 all guaranteed. And so his contract, Lamar's looking at his contract saying, I should get all the
Yeah.
money guaranteed. But the
So
owners are essentially, and so people, kind of a theory, which seems like kind of a fact, is that the owners are coming together and being like, we're not giving out guaranteed contracts. The Browns were
I mean,
just an outlier
yeah.
because they don't
So
want to do that.
first and foremost, it's 6 years, 300 mil,
Is
right?
what he's asking
Which,
for.
like,
Yeah.
is
50
kind
mil
of
guaranteed per year.
sort of market value, sort of, but, like, that's more than Mahomes is getting
Yeah.
paid
By the way,
per year.
the Mahomes contract is like incredible, by the way. Like that's a great contract. Like now
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
at it compared to
yeah.
like other teams.
Exactly,
But
exactly. It's a great contract, and he likes playing under it, dude. He loves Kansas City.
yeah.
Like, he doesn't have any problems with the contract.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so amazing. But, like, and I do really love Lamar as a player, but with the guaranteed money, there's an obvious injury risk
Yeah.
because he's, just because of the way he plays, so dynamic. But,
I mean, he's been injured the past 2 years, like almost the whole
he's
season.
had injury problems in the past, and then with the 6-year deal, I mean, there's always the potential for, like, RG3 type injuries.
Yeah.
He is
Every
an
play you could
RG3 kind of
have
a
a career-ending
player.
injury. So
Yeah, and so there is that risk with Lamar, and also he should not be getting paid more than Patrick Mahomes. And, like,
yeah.
I know that was a great contract for us, but realistically, for, like, teams making deals, that should be the standard because especially after his last season, there's not a player in the league at the quarterback position that can justify to teams, if I'm a general manager, that they should be paid more than Patrick Mahomes. Like,
Yeah.
except for
Well,
maybe Josh Allen.
mhm.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Just
I
because
mean,
of the market climate.
yeah, that's the thing though. Like the players all think that they should be the highest paid whatever in the league.
Yeah.
Dak thought he should be the highest paid quarterback. Kyler didn't get highest paid money, but he got up there. And so Lamar,
Yeah.
he's
Well,
asking, he's
to be
asking
the
for
highest paid quarterback.
to be the highest paid quarterback and get all guaranteed, which no team is gonna give him. Like Deshaun Watson,
Stupid.
that
It's stupid.
it's just
And Deshaun Watson is a different player. Like, there's the whole controversy with him. Obviously not a good guy, and then also didn't play well in the minutes that he saw this year. But, it's not a bad deal for a player like Deshaun Watson when he was on the Texans, right?
yeah.
Like,
I mean, Deshaun Watson was like a top 5 quarterback when he played.
take
Yeah.
that away, drop his value even a little bit. If you take away the controversy and then what we know after this first year, it's not a horrible deal.
Yeah.
Because the guaranteed money, he plays a little safer. He's
Another
smart,
thing,
pocket presence, but yeah.
Another thing is that Deshaun Watson, like, he did not want to go to the Browns. The Browns were out on Deshaun Watson, but they said, "Yo, we'll give you the most guaranteed money ever to a player ever in this sport. And he was like, well, yeah, I'll play for any team with that. So they were like, they were desperate. The Browns are a horrible
Who
franchise.
wants to go to Cleveland?
Exactly. Nobody. The Browns are the worst franchise in the history of the sport. They haven't had a good quarterback since Otto Graham. They're gonna give that money to Deshaun Watson. They need him.
Jim Brown was their last superstar player back, right after World War II, it seems like. I mean, it's unbelievably bad franchise.
Yeah. But
look at, around the league, the quarterback market is a little bit tumultuous right now.
Yeah, I mean, the highest paid guys it's like Kyler, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and
then Mahomes.
Yeah, then Mahomes, something like that. Yeah. So, but
Burrow
I mean,
is going to be the highest paid guy.
Burrow or Jalen Hurts might get paid more money than Burrow. I don't know though. It's gonna be rough.
I mean, we even saw AJ Brown talking about it. Like, if they don't pay Jalen Hurts, he wants to leave. And I don't think a guy says something like that if there's not some sort of contract, whatever, that maybe we're not fully up to snuff on, just because we don't have all that insider news. We're not in the locker room. But I think Jalen Hurts plays very similar to Lamar. I don't think that's the kind of a player where, I mean, obviously you do give him a long-term contract. That's a smart thing to do, but he's, especially with that guaranteed money that they're asking for now, that's a scary guy to give guaranteed money.
I don't think any quarterback will get a fully guaranteed because the owners are making sure that nobody gives anybody another fully guaranteed contract because they don't want to. And so that's the thing that people are saying, is that the owners came together and were like, yo, Ravens or any team, don't give Lamar fully guaranteed, because that means we're going to have to give every good quarterback fully guaranteed because they're all going to ask for it. And so I don't think Jalen Hurts will get fully guaranteed. I don't think Burrow will. I don't think Herbert will. So
I mean, it's so nice not to have to worry about this, knowing that, like, I'm gonna be like, I'll be like done with college and beyond by the time Mahomes is out of Kansas City, and even then he might still be on the Chiefs. Hopefully he is. And so, like, it just feels so nice. Like, the Bengals, that's gonna be hard. Because they have a lot of, like, not only do they have some big contracts,
they
also have a lot of guys who they also have to pay.
Have to pay Jamar. Who knows if they're going to keep T. Higgins?
And if you take away those guys, like, Mahomes was very successful without one of his guys.
Yeah.
Changed up the team, and he was still very successful. But, maybe not Joe Burrow. Maybe not Josh Allen.
I mean, Josh Allen, he was not good before Diggs. I don't know how much you can attribute him. I mean, you can watch him play and be like,
but
he's
now
incredible,
he has that swagger about him. It's like,
I mean, good quarterbacks have good receivers, so it's
that's
just
true.
But
and it goes both ways. But maybe Derek Carr. Moving on to another quarterback, Derek Carr, released by the Raiders in what is, in my opinion, an absolutely abysmal general managing
unless
job.
They get Anthony Richardson.
I mean, but I mean, no way they had the foresight to see that Anthony Richardson was going to have the greatest combine of all time.
Unless, we'll see what
they honestly, somebody in that circle just really likes Jarrett Stidham or something. Like, the coaching staff, I know he was good in one game, but I mean, the coaching staff did an unbelievably horrible job. Really, all of the AFC West, except for the Chiefs, did an abysmally bad job with the talent they had on their rosters the entirety of last season, right? Like,
I don't think Jarrett Stidham will be a week 1 starter, though.
No, he shouldn't be.
Yeah, I don't think that's their plan.
I always get Mike McDaniel and Josh McDaniel mixed up. This is Josh McDaniel, right?
McDaniels.
Yeah. There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Josh, but I was closer that time. Josh McDaniels, former Patriots defensive coordinator.
Offensive.
God, I knew that too.
You almost had it.
I can't remember for the life of me the McDaniels. All the
Yeah,
coaches.
it's
Mike
pretty tough.
McDaniel is at the Vikings.
No, he's not.
Um,
That's O'Connell.
it's O'Connell.
Mike McDaniel's
Mike
coach of
McDaniel
the
is the
Dolphins.
Eagles.
No, Dolphins. That's Sirianni's Eagles.
Mike McDaniel. He's the scrawny looking guy. I'm
Yeah, he's
stupid.
on the Dol. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I'm losing it, dude. This is gonna make me look so unprofessional.
I
I
know,
know
it's all
my
right.
NFL coaches. They're just new. They're just new. I just gotta learn.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, the AFC West was so bad this year.
Yeah.
Just like unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Especially that they were the most talented and still are the most talented division in the NFL. I don't think their poor
AFC East is
performances.
pretty talented.
Yeah, but I don't think the poor performances by the teams as a whole, other than like Russ, takes away at all from the talent across that division. Like
Yeah.
just stupid amount of talent. But yeah, going forward, so the Saints sign Derek Carr, who he is old, but I think that is their quarterback solution for the next couple of years.
Hmm.
He is so solid, like the
Yeah.
definition of solid. And
There's no chance they win a Super Bowl though with him at quarterback. No chance.
yeah, well, unless where are they in the first round?
They don't have a first round pick because they traded with the Eagles. Because they traded up with the Eagles for Ramczyk. Or not Ramczyk. What's the
Anders Pete?
No. This was last year. The guy who the guy who has like
horrible.
Yeah, who fought a bunch. He went
out of Northern Iowa.
Yeah, Northern Iowa.
Why can't
I'm thinking
remember his name?
Skaronski, but he's in this year's draft. I don't have him in my brain.
Yeah, Skaronski's a beast.
Yeah, God, I know.
You have to.
I know. I should know this.
This is so bad. Trevor Penning.
There you go. All right.
Trevor Penning. Yeah.
Yeah. They trade up with him, I think, because they got him in Olave first round, and so Eagles had their first round pick, and that's why they have two.
Yeah, that's bad. That's so bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, there is some wide receiver talent in the second round, third round. But this wide receiver class is not very good.
No. This class overall isn't the greatest.
And Kamara is good. Their defense.
Kamara will be suspended, I think.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I don't think those early season suspensions
They don't. I don't know if Kamara's that great anymore either.
He's been in a bad when you have no weapons, it's really easy to stop a running back only team. Like even Derrick Henry, obviously teams were planning to play against him, but he's a different kind of a back, first of all. And then Tannehill has always been able to provide them with a serviceable passing game.
Yeah.
Even if it's not great. Whereas the Saints at times were just so one-dimensional. And Kamara, where it's not a big back, not even the fastest back, but relies on cutting elusiveness. He needs at least some room to work, and he had none of that. So I don't think Kamara can be blamed. I mean, I think it's kind of a Barkley situation where even when Barkley was healthy, recent years, just they could just bottle him up because they knew Daniel Jones wasn't going to do anything.
Yeah.
And so I don't think, maybe he's not the elite of the elite. He's definitely top 10 in my eyes.
Okay.
We've seen the talent. I haven't seen a talent drop off on his end. It's just not, from what I can see watching him play, he's just not given an opportunity to do anything.
Okay.
So, but, we'll assume that they stick with him. Their defense isn't great. Derek Carr is not a Super Bowl winning quarterback unless you get him some weapons. I think he's proven to be very clutch.
He's never won a playoff game.
Proven to be very consistent. Okay, but he hasn't. How many playoff games has he played in?
Maybe 3 or 4. I mean, still he hasn't gotten to the playoffs that much.
Running up, he hasn't won a division yet.
No, he won with the Chiefs. No, he won that one year he got hurt right at the end of the season, right? Or the Chiefs won that year?
When? The Chiefs have won 10 in a row. So
there was one year they were the 1 seed, then they got hurt, and then the Pats stole it from them. Let
Was
me
that
see. Let me
like
see this.
was that like when I was like a little kid?
No, this was like
'Cause
2015. Well, I guess you were a
no,
little kid then.
The Chiefs have won like I want to say 9 straight AFC West.
Let me see this. They were like 14 and something. Okay.
With
2016 they
Matt.
went 12-4. Yeah, they were second. They were like 12-1 or something, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they
Well,
lost the wild card.
they haven't won. Yeah, they haven't won a division.
They haven't
Or
won a
Derek
division
Carr
since
hasn't.
2002.
Yeah. So because the Chiefs have been unbelievably stacked, and then before that it was the Broncos. But like for most of
Yeah,
Derek Carr's career, it's been the Chiefs.
yeah.
And so even when they were good, they're running it. They're going to the wild card, and they're playing these really solid teams. Like I don't think, and the games weren't close.
He's played two.
Usually.
He's played two. He's 0-2 in the playoffs in his career.
So
Two wild card losses.
who has he played?
Well, 2021. Okay, actually, he's 0-1 because 2016, Connor Cook
He was hurt.
played.
Yeah.
Yeah, Connor
Okay.
Cook played, and
And
then
then
last year he lost to the
2020
Bengals.
and okay, and the Bengals, that was like one of the hottest teams ever at that
I mean,
point.
still, it doesn't matter. He's had one winning season. Well, I guess two if you count the year he got here. He's had two winning seasons his whole career.
Okay. But he doesn't ever like to me, he doesn't ever perform poorly.
Uh-huh.
Like that consistency is really key where like, we see guys win Super Bowl MVP after like horrible performances. Like Mahomes against the Niners did not play well.
Yeah, the
Um
problem, the
and so
Saints,
like
the Saints
yeah.
is just like
No, they won't win a Super Bowl. I'm just
the
like
Saints. They're just committed to
hypothetically.
being like not bad. You know what I mean? Like
Until they get somebody like great. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I don't
they just
know.
don't want to be. They just don't want to be bad. So they get Derek Carr. They get, I guess, Jameis Winston. All these guys. They just don't want to blow it up. Get all the guys. Like their team is so old too. I mean, Cam Jordan's up there. All these
Yeah.
guys on defense.
So yeah, I mean, if it's it's a timing thing. Whereas like if they can build a team in the next couple of years while Derek Carr I think can still perform, then they have a chance to make a push because
Mhm.
there is some potential with the guys that they have. You know, aside from like Cam Jordan, good offensive line.
Their division
Kamara can
also like
bring it
is
back around.
historically
Not
bad
good.
too.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of can they sort of pull it back together while Derek Carr is still serviceable.
Hmm.
Um, and then we have two other things NFL to talk about. I know it's fun to talk about the NFL, but
Yeah.
how long have we been doing this one for? Just
I
time
started
check.
the clock late, but I think it's around like 20 minutes right now.
Okay, so we're good.
Yeah.
But other big news, we'll go chronologically, but the Bears have traded away the first round, their first round pick
First
for
overall pick.
DJ, first overall pick.
Yeah.
For the 9th overall pick from the Panthers,
Hmm.
DJ Moore, a second rounder this year, a first rounder next year, and a second rounder next year.
Yeah.
A
That's what
massive trade. What an amazing trade for the
Ryan
Chicago Bears.
Poles masterclass. That's
Like
his name, right?
the
Yeah, Ryan
only
Poles.
thing, the only thing is that they don't get one of the top defensive pass rushers
Who knows?
that they
Jalen
would have
Carter
think they
might fall
could.
to 9 after all this stuff. Who knows
That's
though?
really, I mean,
I've
yeah,
seen
God. I think
they
okay. So
can get an
here's
elite
the
edge
thing.
rusher maybe.
Here's the thing. If Jalen Carter, yeah, I mean maybe Nolan Smith possibly, but he's
Yeah.
shooting up
I don't even
towards
know if he's going that high.
yeah, okay, but you're not getting Will Anderson,
Yeah,
which like
obviously, yeah.
in my eyes that's like they could have traded back to 2, 3, or 4 and had
But
like
they
a shot
wouldn't
at
have
Will
gotten
Anderson,
nearly as much as
but
they
they
got.
would not have gotten nearly as much as they got because teams know that like they're basically trading back for the guy that they would have taken at 1 anyways,
Yeah.
which like gives those teams at 2, 3, and 4 like a little bit of leverage.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, for me, their biggest need is at the offensive line. Like their pass rush isn't great,
Yeah, they need to
and
tackle bad.
obviously everybody can use an offensive or a defensive lineman at all times. Like it never hurts, just like a cornerback. But tackle is a big need for them. And
Yeah.
you know, Paris, what's his name?
Paris Johnson.
Paris Johnson. Out of Ohio State is a freak. Peter
It's a
Skoronski
decent tackle, pretty
is a
decent
freak.
tackle. Broderick Jones,
Those
DeJuan
guys
Jones.
are kind of around the 9 spot. Like I would expect one of them, but not two, to go before the Bears pick. And so they get
I don't
top-tier
actually
tackle.
think one of them. I think they might have the first tackle in their hands. Maybe.
Well,
I don't know. We'll see.
Offensive line, to see offensive line not go in the first 8 picks would be pretty unusual.
Yeah. It's not the greatest tackle class though.
It's not the greatest, but it's good enough to where I think some stuff will shift around and somebody will take offensive line because it's just such a big need for so many teams. Especially like if the quarterbacks go early, then you could see a team either trade back or, a team that was eyeing a quarterback take offensive line because that's just like the natural progression of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so an amazing trade for the Bears. And I see.
And I don't hate it for the Panthers either, man. They get their guy. Who cares?
It really comes down to them making the right decision at number 1. And the right decision is CJ Stroud.
I've also seen they're also apparently opening to trading back down if they find like multiple guys they like. Like they'll if they have let's say they like Bryce.
So they would be looking at 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, so let's say they like Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and then they're like, you know what? Why don't we get some value and then we'll just take the one who's not taken, you know what I mean? So that's
and I mean for them trading DJ Moore away, they were gonna have to pay him. He did not have a good season in their system.
He's still really good though.
Incredibly he is still good. I'm not saying he's not incredibly good, but wasn't successful last year in their system, first and foremost.
I mean, they also had like the worst quarterback play in the league too.
Those picks they have, really they have a very young team that, yes, they were bad last year, but 9 overall, they weren't as bad as some people saw them last year. Yes, in a bad division.
If they beat the Bucks at the end of the year, they would have won a division.
Yeah, so they were bad. Coaching was really bad though, so maybe they can get it turned around with the coach.
They got Frank Reich from Indy, who's good.
Yeah, really bad quarterback play. So they really weren't as bad as it seems that they were. Traded away Christian McCaffrey to get some assets. Although they really didn't get much for him.
No, they got a lot. They got a lot of draft capital for him.
They didn't get a first though, right?
Yeah, but a first for a running back that's
unheard of. Yeah.
So they got that was a good trade for them. CMC trade.
No, I'm not saying it wasn't, but they weren't getting like they weren't getting like a ton.
Yeah, what they should have done.
Not a ton of notable stuff, but
apparently they had 2 first rounders for Brian Burns from the Rams on the table, and they didn't accept it, which is absurd.
Burns is stupid talented.
But 2 first rounders from the Rams, who are gonna be like the worst team in the league in the next coming years.
I really like Brian Burns.
Yeah.
That trade does make sense, like logically, but I don't think you can justify if that's your guy, then that's your guy. Especially because he's already on the team. Like I don't think you can ever blame a team for not taking a trade.
Yeah.
Unless it's that's my kind of philosophy on it.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's not even that bad of a trade for the Panthers. Assuming that they're good the next couple of years, those draft picks lose value.
I mean, they probably should be I don't know if they're gonna be the favorite to win the division, but
the
obviously
are gonna be bad. Saints, probably.
It depends who the Bucks get at quarterback because they're still not.
Depends who the Bucks get. Depends how Derek Carr and that pans out, and depends on the Falcons. Like Kyle Pitts turn it around. Can they
also
get a
have maybe the worst receiver room? I mean, probably the worst receiver room in the NFL now. Without DJ Moore.
So it's not Robbie Anderson.
Laviska
Shenault,
Shi Smith,
Terrace
Marshall. I would say it's probably the worst. I don't know if you can name it. I mean, honestly, maybe the Giants might be worse than that. But I don't know. I'd probably
I feel like they have somebody else.
No. Panthers wide receivers. I don't think so. Let me see. Let me name the depth chart.
Find the depth. Yeah, find the
I
depth
will.
chart.
Oh God, yeah. No, it's the three we named: Marshall, Shai Smith, Laviska
Gosh,
Shenault, Rashard Higgins. You remember Preston Williams
dude,
from the
Bengals
Dolphins?
franchise.
Oh my God, yeah. But yeah, it's
Shout out
really really
Bengals.
rough.
Yeah, it is rough.
Yeah,
But I don't think like get your guy. Um, free agency, like there's not a ton, but there's some.
yeah.
Get a serviceable guy, and then it really all comes down to if they make the right decision at quarterback, whether that trade was worth it. And so for me, they only have one option, and that's you better take CJ Stroud with the number 1 overall pick.
hmm
I
I don't
don't
know.
like. I know you really like Anthony Richardson. I know
Yeah.
he made big plays. He's not certainly not NFL ready.
hmm
And so like just in terms of like making that pick seem worth it, like 2 years
Yeah.
from now, when those the last of the picks are coming through, um, that Anthony Richardson will not be ready by that point.
I don't
So
know.
I don't think like I think if they take Anthony Richardson and he pans out, Panthers fans will regardless be angry at the trade by the time the last of those picks come through. So
I don't know. We'll see. I would maybe take Bryce Young over him too. He's just so small. So I don't know.
he's good.
But
He's good at football though. I mean, I
yeah,
don't
he's good
know.
at football. I mean, Kyler's
Yeah,
small too. Russell Wilson's small,
yeah.
so you know, who knows?
But
I mean,
yeah, and
another
then
thing. I mean, relating to quarterbacks, Gino got extended. Daniel Jones got extended.
yeah,
Um,
whole lot of like kind of who cares, but
yeah,
it's
I
cool, I
like
guess.
the Gino extension. Don't love the Danny Dimes extension, but
He didn't play bad though, and I mean they were solid.
mhm. Yeah,
If it's not broke, don't fix it. And I think the Cowboys are only going to get worse because
yeah.
they need to blow it up because this group of guys cannot
They're in cap hell right
perform.
now.
Yeah,
They're in cap
and
hell.
this group of guys cannot perform in the postseason. So,
Yeah. hmm But
but
yep, who knows?
yeah,
Aaron Rodgers will be a Jet in the upcoming days. Let's I'm who knows though, dude. Who
God,
knows?
he's so erratic.
He's such a diva, dude. Like, golly,
God,
he loves the attention.
I used to like him and respect him so much because he was the better of the two like dominant quarterbacks of his era, like with him and Brady.
Yeah.
God, and he's so insufferable now.
Yep. He loves the attention, that's for sure. But we'll see what he
Anyway,
does. Maybe
last
maybe he
bit of
retires.
news coming in mere hours before this podcast got underway. Jalen Ramsey is being signed
Traded.
by the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Traded, but we don't have the details of the trade yet, or do we? We
Yeah, we
didn't
do.
at that. We do
It's
now.
have you not heard it yet?
Well, it came out like while we were recording the podcast.
No, okay, no, no. It's been out for a while, but you're gonna what? So you don't know. Tell me what you think it
I think
is.
it's a lot. Probably, I mean, maybe it. Okay, so
Tell me what you think the haul for Jalen
nope.
Ramsey is.
I'm not gonna assume any players because like that's
All right,
impossible.
that's fine.
Um, like a first and 2/3.
All right, so there's one player, Hunter Long. Have you ever heard of him?
Who cares?
Okay,
Probably a long
tight
snapper.
end, tight end. Maybe a future long snapper. You know who
Oh,
knows?
I did see this. I just
It's a
wasn't.
1/3
And
round
it's a.
pick. It's a third
Oh, I
rounder.
saw it. I
Yeah.
saw it.
All right. Well, at least I got your opinions because you forgot. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I saw it and then I like
didn't process.
I was scrolling Schefter and like saw some more stuff about the Bills Panthers trade, which like fun fact, DJ
Bears,
Moore
Panthers, yeah.
before he plays a snap as a Bear will be the highest in terms of receiving yards Bears player ever before he takes a snap.
Bears. So the high he's for career receiving yards.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what do you mean? Like
So
he has
his 5,000 receiving yards,
is the most ever for a Bears player.
5,000 and change is the most ever for a Bears player.
Wow, Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, Jalen Ramsey, third round pick.
Which surprised me because Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall were both.
Yeah. They were only like 1 or 2 years, maybe 2 or 3 though. So.
And they kind of fell off. So yeah. But yeah. So anyway, the Jalen Ramsey. I saw Hunter Long in the third, and then I don't know.
Yeah, didn't process. Didn't go through the brain.
Yeah, but it happens, I'm sleep deprived. But anyway, Jalen Ramsey for a third, and like honestly, who cares about Hunter Long? Like I hope they release him just to make the trade seem even whacker.
Honestly.
But God, I hope you end up on the practice squad.
Oh my God.
Anyway, I mean, I get it. Like he's kind of old, but and he didn't have a great season last year.
He's still a top corner.
And he's dramatic.
He's a trash talker. That's his game.
But you're really good at football.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, imagine practice now. Tyreek Hill tweeted about it, but he said something like practice is gonna be so fun.
Yeah.
Like, imagine just getting to watch. I mean, as a teammate, dude, getting to watch Tyreek Hill versus Jalen Ramsey on the daily.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
That's crazy.
Yep. Yeah.
And they're good now. Like, that's the definition of a team that is super good and then just doesn't really have a quarterback. But Tua is good enough.
Picked up his option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As they should. I mean.
So 2 more years of Tua, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
no doubt. I mean, Tua time, baby.
Yeah. But, I mean, yeah, who knows? AFC East is pretty stacked. I mean, Jets, maybe they have Aaron Rodgers in days, weeks, months, who knows? Dolphins obviously traded last year for Tyreek.
They're gonna have to
Ramsey.
They're gonna have to sweeten the pot for Aaron Rodgers, like give him free haircuts or something. So that he's like I don't know.
Yeah.
But, let him go get ice cream with little Johnny.
Yeah, the kid.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Shout out little Johnny.
Shout out little Johnny. Although you'll never get ice cream when you play the Pats. But
facts.
Yeah, I mean AFC is pretty stacked. Patriots hopefully do something that is anything like trading for D-Hop, but who knows?
That's kind of what this deal reminds me of, is the D-Hop.
Yeah, deal. I don't
like. I just feel like Jalen Ramsey. Like you go into a team that like seems to have all this talent, but like you kind of look more obviously into the depth chart, and like there's some holes still, and I just feel like this is kind of where he goes for his career to die.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't the case.
Xavier Howard.
Yeah, too. I mean Byron Jones too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Hopefully he does well. But it feels eerily similar, even though it doesn't play the same position as DeAndre Hopkins. Whereas, like, Hopkins is not bad, but it's obvious that he is now in Arizona, and his career is going to die in Arizona. I know, he can't walk.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, that's that, and we move on to college basketball.
Yeah. Let's get it.
Selection Sunday starts in 55 minutes. My grandparents are going to be trying to give me hugs and talk to me.
You're gonna have your
eyes
glued
school,
on the TV,
and I am not paying attention. It is Selection Sunday time.
There's gonna be a lot of yeah.
That's great.
Talk
to you later.
I'll see you.
The 1 seed. Yeah. Anyway, before we get into that, there was a clip from the UCLA Arizona game last night. I put it on my Instagram story, but I know you don't have Instagram. Amari Bailey absolutely obliterated an Arizona guard at the rim, dunked on him.
Let me see this.
And they called a charge.
Really?
Now,
charge.
The Arizona player, first of all, and I know you love taking charges, but you take real charges.
Oh God, yeah.
That is not
what?
He
didn't even fall.
He didn't even fall. He got slammed on.
That's
Amari
crazy.
Bailey did not touch him with his guide hand. He did not touch him with his guide hand. The refs, I'm telling you, they do this for fun. Doing the little head motion thing is very fun. I'm not gonna lie. You can add a little flair to it, but it's getting ridiculous.
That's crazy. Wow.
Every time there's contact at the rim, it is not an offensive foul. They are allowed to attack the basket. And honestly, screw the defense. I don't care. I don't want to watch teams take charges all the time. It's stupid.
Unless you're Jalen Williams.
I
love watching him take charges.
I like, honestly, because the problem is too, it deters players from attacking the basket. Like, I want to see guys like Amari Bailey go attack the rim.
Yeah.
And also, UCLA ended up losing that game by 2 points.
By 2, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of rough. He got dunked on and the ref bailed him.
Yeah. So Duke is officially the hottest team in college basketball. Didn't lose a game at home this season. Ran through the ACC tournament big time. Don't think that's just kind of my problem with Duke all years is, you know, they don't have enough of a veteran presence. Jeremy Roach is a sophomore.
He did last year though.
Okay, yeah. They have a senior, their big man, but he's not very good, first of all. And he hasn't been there a long time.
Wait, what year is Filipowski? He's a freshman, right?
Filipowski's a freshman. Lively's a freshman.
Is Filipowski, is he gonna get drafted this year?
They all are.
Proctor's is he a lottery guy?
I mean, he should be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, he's a 7-foot small forward.
Yeah. Let me look at the. Yeah, he's 16th on ESPN.
Yeah, so him and Lively are going. That's the thing with Duke is they always have to reload, and so it's like, you know, with Duke, you almost have to hope that like every year one of those players like doesn't play well.
Yeah.
And so this year it's Derek Lively.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still probably gone at the end of this year. But you know, just in terms of this year, they do have some veteran presence. Jacob Grandison off the bench, good shooter, inconsistent. Their big man from Northwestern, and I can't remember his name. Real scrappy guy. But he's not good enough to make an impact, and he's a first-year guy for them. Him and Grandison have not been with the team for that long. Same amount as a freshman. And then Jeremy Roach is a sophomore. So it's like, you're not looking at a whole lot of leadership. First-year head coach. And so,
Borden,
you know,
the big guy? Right now.
What's his name?
Stanley Borden?
No.
I'm talking about, no, Lively's the other.
No. They're starting center. Lively doesn't start.
Oh, Ryan Young.
Yeah, Ryan Young.
Yeah.
Worst name in college basketball. Anyway, they will. That's not the kind of team to me that gets upset. But I think it's a team that gets beaten by, like, if they're a 4 seed, then they get beat by a 5, and if they're a 3 seed, then they get beat by a 6 or an 11. Like, I just don't. I don't see them just having the longevity to win 6 straight games.
Yeah.
But yeah. And you know, they're now sleepers because they've been so hot, but that's not the kind of team that wins games in March Madness.
The hotness and coldness into March, from what I've seen, doesn't really play a part unless you're I can see it how
it does, but you have to have some sort of way to maintain it because it's not going to be smooth sailing, right, in March Madness.
Yeah.
And so, like, Kansas teams who get hot, and I would consider us hot because not only were we missing Kevin McCullough last night and Bill Self, who I'm pretty sure he was out the whole Big 12 tournament. I think like heart problems.
Oh, is he good? Is he going to be good for the March Madness?
I think so. But like our team has veteran presence, first of all, and our only losses recently are to Texas.
Both to Texas.
And so it's like no McCullough, who's our defensive anchor. Like we obviously could not get a stop last night without him.
Yeah.
And he'll be back. It's just back spasms.
I mean, and three of KU's losses are back-to-back games.
Yeah.
So
again, and I always say this. I don't know if I've said this already this podcast.
Yeah.
Teams that care about winning their conference tournaments are not the same teams that win March Madness.
Yeah.
It's just not. And so
well, because they know they're already locked into the 1-2 seed whenever they get there.
And so like really that game does not matter to us because our fans like we care about the regular season in the Big 12 because we win it so often that like it sucks if we don't lose or if we don't win it. But those conference tournaments, Kevin McCullough could have played. And we could have kept all of our guys in till the very end, but we called off the Dogs. And it's no slight to Texas. They played great. Hopefully the Big 12 represents in the tournament. I'm not wishing ill on any Big 12 teams, but it's just not like that important for Kansas people.
Yeah.
And then, getting on to the, some of the Cinderella's projected bracket. I'm going to pull up a projected bracket right now.
Okay. I've been looking around, and I've seen that UNC Asheville is a nice sleeper team. What are you thinking of them?
So UNC Asheville has, correct me if I'm wrong, they have the guy from Tennessee.
Yeah, they do. I forgot his name, but yes.
My opinion on that is, first of all, you've been on TikTok a little too much.
I mean, I have a guy, I have a guy.
Second of all, like, I don't think a guy, like, it's not, those Cinderella teams, it's not one player. Like, obviously you need a star. Obviously you need a star.
It helps to have the primary scorer.
But I don't feel like UNC, it does. But I don't think UNC Asheville, first of all, I don't feel like they're that well coached.
Okay.
Second of all, I don't think that they're going to get a good draw, just the way it looks. Like, they are likely going to get what are they projected as, a 13 or a 14?
Let me see.
Or I'll
bracketology. I got it. 68 team. Oh, also, did you see that Texas Southern made it and they're 14-20? That's crazy.
Did they win their tournament?
Yeah.
I mean,
14-20. That's pretty awesome though.
It's what it is, yeah.
UNC Asheville. Let me see this. Okay, they're not.
There, I'll find it. I have the bracket pulled up.
So. Okay. They're projected 15.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and then it for me, it really just depends on what 15 seed they draw. Like,
what
Joe Lunardi has them drawing UCLA. Which is not a good matchup for them just because of the raw talent and athleticism that UCLA possesses. Experience mixed with freshman talent and like overpowering athleticism.
Yeah.
A team or like Arizona is always like, there are certain teams. Arizona is the best rebounding team in the country, right?
Yeah.
And so an Arizona team, for me, and although we saw it with Kentucky last year, they got beat by St. Peter's and they had Oscar Tshiebwe, maybe the best rebounder in college basketball ever. But, I don't see teams who can't rebound and play in the trenches as teams that are going to succeed, like, Cinderella-wise.
Yeah.
All the Cinderellas are gonna be at a rebounding disadvantage. So for me, if they draw a 2 seed like Marquette, right?
Shaka Smart's been masterclass this year, though.
Yeah, of course, but he led some Texas teams that were very suspect in the tournament.
He hasn't had really any.
If for some reason Kansas State or Tennessee. Not Tennessee. If for some reason Kansas State moves up to a 2, I don't see why they would. Or Baylor moves up to a 2. Those are teams where I could see them not getting beat as badly on the boards. And so, like, if that's the draw that they can get, then they have a chance. But I like to look at my Cinderellas from a more realistic perspective. And we're just gonna go down the list.
Okay.
First of all,
Also,
Alabama
real
probably.
quick, Houston's losing to Memphis by 15 right now.
Yeah.
Not gonna
So,
affect them, but just saying.
well, it will affect them because Kansas will now be the second overall 1 seed, but like who really
That's
cares?
true.
Um,
It'll help for region wise. There is a Kansas City region.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. That's why it would have been nice for Kansas to get the number 1 overall seed because the number
Yeah.
1 overall seed gets to pick where they play.
Yeah, and they'd choose Kansas City.
And that's
Obviously.
what we got that draw last year.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
It's just a little tidbit. It's not really
Because
nothing major.
it's playing in the Sprint Center, right? And like I don't expect listeners to understand Kansas City, but it's like an hour from Kansas City. There are a lot of Kansas fans, but it's not. It's certainly not like playing a home game.
Yeah, no.
It's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway.
Yeah, that's like Cinderella teams.
Yeah, but so Bama, number 1 overall seed, they're not gonna get upset,
You
but
don't think
it's
they
fine.
got
But
some ballers.
they're projected by Joe Lunardi to have like a primo bracket,
Ooh,
right?
yeah.
Florida Atlantic is
Florida
their 8th
Atlantic.
seed, and like they're good. They were ranked at one point, but it's again just like the size and athleticism of Alabama. Like we saw it with the SEC.
The killer instinct.
They don't get pushed around by decent teams.
Yeah.
If you are a big athletic good team, you can beat Alabama. They're slightly inconsistent in that way. A lot of ISO ball, whatever it is. But
what would you think of the UVA Bama matchup?
Okay, so I don't mind UVA as an upset pick there. Problem is UVA is not making it to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So like if you have UVA potentially beating Bama, that's fine. But I don't think UVA makes it to the Sweet 16. And yes, they're well coached, but it's not like. Which, by the way, being well coached means a lot in March Madness.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, it's just not. They're not going to get past Indiana, even if they win in the first round, which I probably won't have them. Maryland is a good 9 seed that could take down Alabama because they have that pedigree of beating good teams. But yeah, I don't think Maryland's not amazing, and they've been really inconsistent. And so yeah, Alabama would run through Florida Atlantic, despite Florida Atlantic, I think, being a really solid team, and Florida Atlantic being a team that could, run up into a team like Arizona or even like I hate to say, but Kansas. Like if that's the draw we get, then Florida Atlantic is the kind of team that could give us problems. But I don't think Alabama is that matchup for them. And then moving down, Virginia against Charleston, that's really a toss up. Just Virginia's just cold.
So inconsistent.
Bad offensively.
They
Lost
had a horrible,
Ben Vanderplas.
Horrible offensive night last night. Jesus, dude.
Lost Ben Vanderplas.
Yeah, out for season.
And so Charleston, a team that can shoot the ball.
Yep. UVA cannot.
And so, that's just how the cookie crumbles there sometimes. And if a team gets hot, then they have a chance to win. Moving down Indiana, I'd like to take Louisiana easily. The Raging Cajuns,
really
tough name, but yeah, Indiana, Trace Jackson Davis is enough to carry them through. Jalen Hood-Schifino is very
okay.
talented.
I thought you said you take Louisiana easily. I'm like, dang.
Oh no,
like I was about to say TJD in the tournament.
San Diego State is a really solid team, but in the past
few
years, 11s have beaten 6s more often than 6s have beaten 11s.
Really?
But yeah, NC State, if NC State wins their first 4 matchup against Arizona State, which I think they will, NC State has a player by the name of Jerquavion Smith, and he is a baller. And so I think that just really is, again, a tough matchup for San Diego State, just because San Diego State, they are a consistently good team, but it's still kind of a mid-major. It's not a mid-major, but it's not a high major either. And so like you're running up against this like top tier talent now in Jerquavion Smith, who can just really give you buckets. And so if he's on, I could see NC State taking that. And I could see NC State going a long way against Gonzaga, who I think is an underratedly bad team this year.
Even with Mark Few.
Andrew Timmy. I mean, they were just.
I mean, Drew Timmy's been
good.
a dog in the March Madness.
Yeah, but
when did they lose last year? Or who did they lose to?
In the Sweet 16 to Arkansas.
That's right. Yeah.
But so Gonzaga against Grand Canyon is what's projected, and I could see Grand Canyon taking that game. Really good coaching. I would
take Gonzaga that game.
Really good coaching under Drew. I forget his first name. But I believe he's a relative of Scott Drew with Baylor. And then I could see Grand Canyon really taking that game. Good shooting team, solid team. Gonzaga just been bad even against mid-major competition this year. Missouri, it has them running up into a really tough matchup with Providence. Both of those teams should honestly have been ranked. I think Missouri was ranked at the end of the season. Providence has been on a downturn, but I would take Providence. Bryce Hopkins, the Kentucky transfer, really solid.
Who won the did Marquette win the Big East?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marquette's good. But
Marquette's good.
Shaka Smart. But Providence and Missouri, both good teams, both athletic teams. Kansas beat Missouri by 40. But I would take Providence. Texas is not getting upset like that. They're just they have such a bad tournament pedigree that they're gonna get it done. Purdue, I'm not taking a 1 to get beaten this year. Arkansas, I know a lot of people love them. Freshman team with a lot of talent, essentially is what it is. But I would take Illinois over them. Again, pedigree, shooting, they've got a lot of it. Consistent. Coleman Hawkins has been great this year. Shout out that prolific prep overtime documentary, if any of you know what I'm talking about. But Coleman Hawkins is that guy. TCU, really good team. Big 12 is just elite. So, I mean, Drake is not bad, but any team with Big 12, you're not looking at an upset team. The Big 12 is just super solid.
Yeah.
Duke against Furman. Furman
no way.
Duke is really hot. Furman is. There's nothing wrong with Furman. Furman's a good basketball team. It's just they don't match up.
What would you
even in their their mid-major type competition, and we do kind of have to hurry this up.
Yeah, we do.
Grandparents, sorry. But edit that out, man.
No, I won't.
Shut off Flight. Anyway, but Furman doesn't really match up very well. St. Mary's, honestly, better than Gonzaga going down the board. I like them as a 6 seed to do well against 11 seeds, even though they don't typically. Baylor against UC Santa Barbara, the Gauchos, who are not as good as they were last year. Super talented last year and lost a close one, I believe, to UConn. But again, I just don't see them running well against such a tested Baylor team.
Yeah, Baylor. They got back what's his face, right? Chama Chachua.
Yeah. And he hasn't been great, but he's a glue guy. And Santa Barbara just doesn't pack the punch they did last year. Northwestern is a sleeper. I think I would take them to beat Marquette in the second round. USC has been relying on Boogie Ellis all year, and I don't think they're a very good team overall. Drew Peterson and Boogie Ellis, the Memphis transfer, I believe. And so I just don't really see them as a great team. But Northwestern has been really solid with young guard play, and they were even ranked for a time. And so I would take them over Marquette, and I think Marquette wins the first round, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Kansas here, it has them playing. It doesn't matter. Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, who I think we played last year in the first round.
Yeah, that sounds right. Or that might have been.
But and then
right.
it would have our 8-9 seed as Memphis, Penn State. I don't think Memphis plays the teams that are good enough to give them a pedigree against Kansas, even though they're playing Houston right now. Penn State.
Would Penn State be there? Would Penn State be there if they didn't go crazy in Big Ten tourney?
Doesn't matter. They're there now.
Yeah,
know the name Jalen Pickett.
I do now. I watched them the other day.
And then Kanye Clary went to Princess Anne High School.
Mm-hmm. And I know that I saw the dude you were talking about, the white dude with the headband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Texas A&M is overrated at this point. And so, like, VCU is not a team I love. Pretty good team. Texas A&M did beat Alabama. I don't dislike them, but I think that's a team that could get upset simply on account of them being overrated right now. Xavier, similar situation, played good in the Big East, doesn't have really the talent. Could see them getting upset. Not in this mock bracket though, by Kent State. It's just not good enough to beat them.
Yeah.
Miami, really hot. Utah State could get hot. Again, another good 3-point shooting team. That's a sleeper to watch out for. Like, if you have them beating Miami, which I wouldn't, but if you do, that's a team that could really get hot and win some games. And I think Miami is underrated in this bracket.
Do you value, like, for underdogs, looking at underdogs, do you value 3-point shooting a lot because it shows a team can get hot?
Well,
They can get hot, make a bunch of
because you
threes.
have to, and like making big shots as well, like, is just super important.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's just like I wish I didn't, honestly, because like you see it a lot where, like, you want to just push for good basketball.
Yeah.
But it's
you gotta hit
not,
big
like,
shots to win big games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tennessee, depending on their draw, no Zakai Ziegler. Their pedigree is what's getting them to a 3 seed. Had a great season, but they don't really have. I saw somebody say this. I agree with it. They don't really have anybody now with Zakai Ziegler having the torn ACL that can create off the dribble. So not a lot of shot creation. If they can get stymied by a defense, then that's really a team that could have some problems. If they got a draw against a team like Iona, Rick Pitino's Iona, they run a full court press. And I was just seeing some stuff about them. They can shoot it. Rick Pitino's a great coach. They could really stymie that Tennessee defense or Tennessee offense. Michigan State, good, slightly overrated. If their players come to play individually, then that's a team that could do well. Good coaching, Tom Izzo. Against an Auburn team who's kind of trending downwards in my eyes.
Yeah.
But also has some talent. I would take Michigan State. It's all dependent on their guard play, their individual play. Arizona, good. Montana State, also good. Montana State, that's a team to watch depending on their draw. But Arizona is just such a good rebounding team that I think it would be really hard to upset them. And then final bracket, Houston, Northern Kentucky, irrelevant, automatic qualifier, but irrelevant. Yeah. Houston, bad competition, could get upset later. You're looking at Iowa, good team. They've shown the ability to get hot with Chris Murray, a lot of 3-point shooters.
Experience.
It's a corn-fed team, if you know what I'm talking about. And then West Virginia as well. Big 12 has the potential to beat everybody, right?
Yeah.
Any team at the Big 12. And
how do they fare in the Big 12 this year?
Bad, but it doesn't matter.
Stacked.
They have beaten teams at the highest level of basketball. And so they can do it again.
Barely lost to KU.
Iowa State, similar thing. I love Oral Roberts that they have matched up with at the 12, but Iowa State is not going to falter like that. The Big 12 is elite. UConn, I love them as a dominant force of a team, but then running up against Iona, like UConn has been inconsistent all year. But Iona can take advantage of them on an inconsistent day. But again, if you get an on UConn, they can beat any team in the country. If UConn is playing well, they could win it all. But just kind of dependent on that, their consistency. Creighton, a good team out of the Big East. But might run into a Rutgers/Pittsburgh. Both teams who have been consistent, good down the stretch. And so that's another one of those games where you see why 11s beat 6s all the time. Just could be a barn burner, as they say. Kansas State, I've got them over Princeton. Princeton just won the Ivy League tournament earlier today, kind of because they had a home court advantage. Not really looking at them as an upset team. Kansas State, again, Big 12, really solid. Boise State is not good at basketball. They won some games. I really do not like Boise State as a team, just in general. I don't like their brand of basketball. And Kentucky is underrated, as much as I hate to say it. They're
a low-seeded blue blood.
And then finally, UCLA, great team, got screwed in the Pac-12 tournament. And then running up against UNC Asheville, you noted as a good upset pick, but not.
If they play UCLA, I would pick UCLA.
And then
easily.
And anyway, before I have to go, which is very shortly, just a few teams who I would pick to win it all. That's the biggest thing in your bracket tournaments. If you pick the right team to win it all, that's great.
Nash did it last year, and he won like every bracket challenge he was in. So
any Big 12 team that's not Oklahoma State or West Virginia or Texas Tech, if they make it, has a chance just because of the pedigree. They've all shown the ability to get hot. So
played in tough games.
Not West Virginia, not Oklahoma State, not Texas Tech if they get in, but all the others have the chance to win. And pick all those Big 12 teams in the first round if I was you. And then UCLA consistency. UConn again noted them as just a team that can really get hot. Not Houston.
Not Houston. Bama.
Not Arizona in my eyes. Bama if they can avoid controversy. Not Tennessee. Miami is a definite yes, although they haven't played good teams. They could win it all. They could really get hot.
Yeah.
Kansas definitely maybe the best team in the country. Marquette definitely good coaching. Maybe not like the most athletic, greatest rebounding team, whatnot. Tyler Kolek can go. He is really just a really solid player. Love them. Baylor, Duke, TCU, all of those teams. Purdue, even though I don't like them, I think they will choke.
Yeah. Favorite 8 or lower seed to win the tourney. One team. Okay. Go.
Let me just look really quickly.
8 or lower. Favorite team to win the whole thing.
8 or lower. I want you to give me mine at the end of this. I know college basketball is not your thing, but
okay. My pick to win. Let's see, who would I pick?
8, okay. Providence looking kind of tasty. Northwestern's a 7, so that doesn't count. Penn State kind of tasty.
Yeah.
Probably gonna pick an 11 seed here. Let me just look one more time.
Mississippi State.
Probably NC State.
NC State.
NC State, Penn State.
Out of the plans.
Or NC State, Penn State, or Auburn.
Or Auburn. Okay.
Auburn just really good coaching.
Yeah.
Penn State and NC State, similar reason.
Yeah.
They have those guys who can just really do it. And
Penn State is down by 1 with 6 seconds left to Purdue.
Doesn't matter. In my eyes.
Would Purdue drop? No, they wouldn't drop. They're in the championship. Probably.
No, they would. That's a bad loss in my eyes.
Really? Let's see this.
And they're already.
If Penn State won that, they could really get up though.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's very exciting. Tune in. Or I guess we're not gonna have this podcast up by then, but
yeah.
If by some miracle you're like traveling back, you can travel back in time. God, this is so corny. But I'm just gonna finish the joke anyway. If you can travel back in time, tune in to Selection Sunday.
Make your bracket.
Yeah, make your bracket. Be dialed in. March Madness. It's time. So exciting.
Yeah, I'm picking Houston to win. By the way, probably.
That's so whack.
They're really good.
I know you saw them play live. They don't play good enough teams to justify that. Anyway, I do have to go. Family gathering.
All right.
But
you gotta do your thing. Nash, give me locked into Selection Sunday. That was fun. I'm really excited. Yeah, we're gonna be locked in, but. All right, appreciate you guys. Yeah, appreciate you guys for listening, watching, whatever.
Every single Sunday.
Yeah, every single Sunday is gonna be our goal.
Yeah.
And we will catch you guys next time.